So now that we are done with the product development, so we are now going to proceed with the 4 M's of the operations. So the operations plan or the management plan is an important part of the business plan because it simply states the details in operating the business. Operations management, on the other hand, controls the implementation of the business plan. So kumbaga po, nandito na yung process natin before and during our business. So for the first M, we have the methods. So the methods aspect represent the day-to-day operations of a business. It describes how an entrepreneur will run the business from all facets of the business, such as the manufacturing of the goods, the service delivery process, the distribution of goods and services, the logistics for delivery of goods, and inventory management, to name a few. So kumbaga po sa methods, we have to make sure na we have the idea on how we are going to manufacture our products, how will the service delivery be, how are we going to distribute our goods and services, and of course, we also have to know the process of how are we going to identify the logistics for the delivery of goods and the inventory management. So naandyan po lahat ng methods na dapat nating or yung gagawin natin for our business. So for the manufacturing of the goods, so the entrepreneur who will engage in producing his or her own products will have to consider the basic guidelines and principles in manufacturing. So manufacturing is the process of translating raw materials into finished goods that are acceptable to the customer standards. This consists of three elements: the input, the process, and the output. So kapag sinabi po nating input, so these are the materials or ingredients to be used in creating. Next is the process. So for the process, it is the transformation phase where inputs are processed by manpower and machines. And lastly, for the output, it is the final product to be sold to the customers. So it is it is important for us to identify these three elements for the manufacturing of the goods. Then for the service delivery process, the entrepreneur who will engage in a service business must be more meticulous when it comes to the service delivery process. This is because services are intangible and the only way the customer can appreciate the service is by remembering how pleasant his or her experience was. So kung maalala po natin in our previous lessons, we have mentioned that kumbaga yung selling is the silent salesman. Ano po? So doon po pumapasok yung ating service delivery process. So if we have a good way in serving the customers, so syempre mas makakahatak po tayo ng customers and mas makakagather po tayo ng loyal customers. So service entrepreneurs must prepare a detailed flowchart of the service business, which is also called a service blueprint. So kumbaga po, dapat alam po natin for the service entrepreneurs kung paano ba yung magiging flow ng ating service. So ito po ba ay saan mag-uumpisa, and then paano po ba yung process ng customers. So for example, a barbershop should place the receptionist in front so that the customers can easily inquire of the service that they will avail. So halimbawa po dun sa ating process, of course, mauna kumbaga yung information desk or yung receptionist. So hindi naman po pwede sa isang location na nasa dulo yung ating kumbaga yung ating receptionist. Kasi syempre ang unang gagawin ng customers is to inquire. That's why mas maganda na kumbaga inilagay dun sa front yung receptionist. So kumbaga we have to plan the process carefully para hindi po mahirapan ang customers at hindi rin po mahirapan yung ating kumbaga mga employees natin. So one of the basic processes to be considered thoroughly is the distribution process. So now we are now in the distribution method. In selling physical goods, the entrepreneur must plan the location, the processes, and the distribution of the products to the customers. So the distribution is not a straight process from the entrepreneur to customers. Certain people can be involved in the chain like the manufacturer, distributors, and the agents. So when we say manufacturers, they handle the invention, development, and production of the product. And then we also have the distributor. The distributor, so galing sa manufacturer, so they are the ones who buys the product and sell them at a markup price. So from the manufacturer, bibilhin ni distributor, and then sa distributor, so siya naman po, kumbaga, ang magbibenta noong product na yon. And then we also have the agents. So agents serve as a bridge between the manufacturer and the customers. Next, for the methods, also we have to make sure that we know or we are going to plan the payment process. So the entrepreneurs may also establish a seamless payment process. Generally, there are no problems if the customers pay in cash. But there are instances when they do not want to pay in cash and are usually attracted by flexible and customer-friendly payment terms such as the credit cards or the installment plans. So apart from the distribution, apart from the manufacturing process, we also have to take into consideration our plan. How will the customers are going to pay for the product? So ito po ba ay more on, we are focusing on cash payment, or pwede, or mag-o-offer din po ba tayo ng credit cards or installment plan? So we also have to indicate that in our plan. So that is for our first M. Now for our second M, it is the manpower. So the manpower, as a business grows, the entrepreneur will need the expertise of qualified employees that can handle operational functions so that he will be free from daily activities and can focus on the strategic and management functions of the business. The entrepreneur must plot a table of organization based on his objectives and verify if the position is really necessary by devising a detailed job description and job qualifications of the future employee. So kumbaga ay hindi lamang po si entrepreneur ang gagawa ng lahat ng trabaho. So after some time, kailangan siyang mag-hire ng tao para gumawa ng iba't ibang operational functions. So for this second M, yan, kailangan kumbaga mag-plot ng table of organization ng entrepreneur para ma-identify niya sino-sino ba yung kailangan na i-hire at ano ba yung qualifications na kailangan para ma-hire yung isang tao at ano ba yung job description. So for the job description, this enumerates the duties and responsibilities of the potential employee, including the scope, the limitations and terms and conditions of the employment. So para po mas kumbaga mas malinaw para sa employees kung ano ba talaga yung dapat nilang gawin for their job. So mas mahalaga na we provide with the job description. So this also includes the job title, the compensation and the benefit range, responsibilities and accountabilities, and work schedule. So nakalagay po doon yung iba't ibang description for the job. Next naman po is of course the employee qualifications. So sa employee qualifications, we have to include the educational background. So this part gives the entrepreneur an idea on the degree of the candidate's knowledge of basic things, though this is not the sole factor in selecting a candidate. So ano ba yung kumbaga educational background na kailangan natin? And for the work experience, so this will tell what to expect from the applicant and what he or she can potentially contribute to the business based on his or her past positions and experiences. So for the employee qualifications, it is also important po na ma-identify natin or i-include natin na ilalagay po ng employees kung ano yung kanilang work experience. So para din po may expect po tayo na ganito na yung kakayanan or kayang gawin ng ating employee. Then we also have to include a specific skill. Ano ba yung specific skill or knowledge na kailangan natin? So this one is important, especially on technical jobs that require higher proficiency. So if our business deals more with technical jobs, so mahalaga po na mag-include tayo ng specific skill or knowledge. This is also less expensive because entrepreneurs don't have to train them thoroughly to acquire such skills. So kumbaga po, it is an advantage for an employee if he or she has those special skill for the technical job. So hindi na kailangan ng employer na sila i-train pa. And also the work attitude. So for the work attitude, this deals with the worker's integrity and how he or she deals with his or her co-workers, bosses, and customers. So syempre, mahalaga pa rin po yung work attitude. So minsan ay kumbaga hindi lang sa tinapos or sa degree tinitingnan ng isang employer kung i-hire niya yung isang tao. So nakadepende rin po yun sa work attitude. And for our third M, we have the machines. So most businesses would not be able to operate without the aid of machines. Machines can be described as the best friend of manpower in producing goods and offering services. They go hand in hand. Machines are not only limited to physical equipment, but can also pertain to new technologies that help business operations become standardized and seamless. So kumbaga po, in terms of business, the best friend of the manpower is the machine. So for the product to be created, for the product to be manufactured, the manpower needs the help of the machines. So in our business plan or in our operations plan, ano ba yung mga possible kumbaga machines na kailangan natin, yung mga major machines na kailangan natin. So halimbawa, if our plan is to have a computer shop, so syempre ang mga machine na kailangan natin doon ay yung basic na yung computers, the internet, and the lights. And for the last M, the materials. So whether the entrepreneur will offer products or cater services, he or she has to pinpoint a number of dependable suppliers of quality raw materials and supplies. So of course, if you are going to have business, you also have to make sure that you have supplier po ng inyong materials. So kung yun po bang materials ninyo ay kayo mismo yung gagawa or galing mismo sa inyo, or kumbaga iaangkat pa ninyo yung mga raw materials ninyo and supplies. So the entrepreneur should decide on what route to choose when it comes to materials. So the options may include the following. You can manufacture your own products. You can also outsource the manufacturing or service activities to a third party. So kumbaga may supplier po tayo ng ating raw materials, and purchasing own product from present suppliers. So we have to identify kung paano po ba natin ma-acquire yung materials natin. Ayan, so that is all about our operations plan. So if you have any questions or clarifications, so do not hesitate po to message your subject teacher. So good day everyone, God bless and keep safe.